Well, guys, our first look at Hellboy the Crooked Man officially hit earlier today, and, well, boy, does it look cheap. So first up, I actually had the trailer all cut up and edited in this, but, it keeps getting hit with a copyright the moment I upload it, so for some reason I can't show you any of that, but hey, it's free game on these. Even images from the Crooked Man, are doing the same thing, so I don't know what's up. Maybe it's because of part of the EW thing, and they're very stingy on it, and also they didn't even release the trailer on YouTube right away. They released it on the website, and the best quality of it was like 480p. It's bizarre, man. I don't know. But maybe that's indicative of what's going on. Now, I've talked about it before. I'm a fan of the Hellboy character. I love Hellboy 1. I think Hellboy 2 is one of the top 25 greatest comic book films ever made. And the reboot, I thought, was interesting in concept, but in execution, it was bad. But to say that the last reboot from a couple years ago actually looks so far superior to the Crooked Man might actually be the most on-the-nose statement I've ever made. Like, the last Hellboy film looks like a work of art compared to this new one, and that's for a couple of reasons. I've pretty much been like the only person talking about the new Hellboy film anywhere on the internet that I've seen, and it's because I genuinely love the character. So understand what I'm saying right now comes from a place of passion and not hatred. I don't want this to be taken as me just hating it for the sake of like rage bait and hate or whatever other YouTubers do. That's not the case. I genuinely love Hellboy as a character. And having really taken a deep dive into the comics the last couple of years, I grew a whole new appreciation for the character in that universe. The problem is that the company that got their hands on the film, they're known and notorious for putting out cheap schlock. And the one thing that stood out to me about the Crooked Man is that it does look cheap in many ways. And that's not to say, oh, it's because it's in Appalachia, and they also shot it in, like, Europe. They couldn't even shoot it in America because they wanted all these, like, incentives and cost-cutting measures. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that it looks cheap on a level where the makeup, it's toned down and looks like they made, like, a mask that you just pull over the actor's face, and then you just kind of, like, put some makeup around the eyes to blend it. Almost like cosplayers, but not as good. And at the same time, the setting of the film looks like it's just the woods and like small villages. And again, that's what the Crooked Man story calls for. But it looks like all these decisions were made just because the man in charge of the comics was not in charge of the last couple attempts, and he wanted something and nobody would give him money. So they're making this as cheap as possible. It almost has the feel of a low-budget pilot. And I've seen people say a fan film. And almost, it's like an advanced fan film. And that truly just kind of kills my excitement for it. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to see the film. The last Hellboy film I saw, me and my wife were the only people in the theater. This is probably going to be the same thing, and I doubt if it's even going to play worldwide or in a wide release, because it doesn't look like it's going to, just by the quality of it. This film just, I'm sorry, does not look good.